Hi friends, this is Anna Hellman with Scrapping, Stamping, and Stuff. Today I want to talk to you all about heat embossing. I've been talking about some different techniques lately, and heat embossing is a classic that we need to talk about. So what is heat embossing exactly? It is a technique that allows you to add raised, glossy accents to your paper projects. And the result is absolutely beautiful. So on this card, you can see that I stamped, and I actually used clear embossing powder on this one. It looks black, but that's that one. And on these two poinsettia cards, I used it on the actual poinsettias. This one with some silver embossing powder, this with gold. So let's talk about what we need to do embossing on our projects and how to actually do it. The first thing you're going to need is some Versamark ink. This is a clear ink that is very sticky, very tacky. And the reason we want it to be very sticky is because we need some embossing powder, and the ink is going to cause this to cling to our project. Looks like I have some spare things in there in my embossing powder, but it doesn't usually cause any problems on my projects. In addition to that, we need an embossing buddy, and Stampin' Up! Used to sell an embossing buddy. We don't anymore. So my very next video is going to be how to make your own embossing buddy. You need either some scrap paper to sprinkle your powder over to catch the excess, or it's pretty handy to use a coffee filter for that. And you're going to use a heat tool. So let me show you exactly how to do this. I have some cardstock here, and the first thing I want to do is use my embossing buddy over the top of this to remove any moisture that might be present or any static. We don't want our embossing powder to stick to any places on the cardstock besides where the ink is from our stamped image. And if you don't use an embossing buddy, a lot of times you will find that you'll get excess powder sticking to places. You don't want it on those projects. Okay, so run that over and it should be ready. Now, grab your stamp. This one is from the Ridiculously Awesome stamp set, and I thought these would be really fun, these big greetings, to emboss them. So I will ink my stamp on this Versamark pad, stamp it. Now I'll bring in my coffee filter, lay this inside, and I want to sprinkle this powder over the top of that and get it nice and covered. Okay, if I miss any spots, I'll sprinkle it again. It looks like I got it covered. I do have some excess, and what I usually find is that by giving it a little flick on the back side, it should knock that off, okay? Perfect. So the next thing we do is we need to get our heat tool going to melt this powder, to heat set it. So I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to let you watch along. What you'll notice, hopefully you'll be able to see this, is as it starts to melt, I compare it to if you could watch frost forming on a window. It's just a really cool process. So I'm going to try and hold it close enough for you to see, and you can watch along. There it is, starting to melt. I missed one little corner down here on my A, so I will finish that. And we are good. So that is one thing you want to make sure when you're done. I've seen people at my classes before heat emboss, and they don't wait quite long enough to where the entire thing is glossy. So you saw how that worked. As you can see, this is absolutely beautiful. Couple of tips. When you are holding your cardstock to heat it up, you can use some tweezers or something to hold it up in the air. If you have a mat like this or anything that could possibly melt, you do not want to heat directly on your work surface. So a lot of times I'll hold it up in the air. I have some tweezers I'll use sometimes that can help to keep it out, keep my fingers away so they don't get hot from the heat tool. Okay, so now you know how to heat emboss. I hope this was helpful. And if you're interested in doing this and you don't have an embossing buddy, make sure to check out my next video where I will share how to make your own. Have a wonderful day.